most spectacular fights with Jon Jones. I
Gustafsson,
mean, down to the wire, like as close as it gets.
And I looked at Alexander as being a white version of me. In that fight, it was the first time that I seen my mother crying over my bed. Backstage, they put me on morphine and my lips were swollen. I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat.
Gustafsson are busting up the mouth of Jon Jones.
Things did not go the way I expected.
January 15th, 1987, in the small town of Arboga, Sweden, Alexander Gustafsson grew up on a farm with 4 younger sisters.
This is the house I grew up in. Yeah, it's very nice.
I've always had a really good connection with my family and always had great support, always kept in touch with everyone and so on. I had a very pleasant upbringing.
As a child, Gustafsson gravitated towards sport far more than school.
As a kid, I had a lot of energy that I needed to get rid of, so I did sports.
So this is my mom.
He's been involved in all sorts of different sports, ice hockey, football. He was a bit of a wild one. He never really found his true passion or his calling then.
As a teen, Gustafsson was exposed to outdoor culture from a young age, where activities like hunting and shooting are part of everyday life for some communities.
You know, he had 4 sisters, so they ran out into the forest with their rifles, their wooden rifles, and shot at each other. And they were the ones who really took a beating.
What?
So there were marks all over them everywhere.
How long have you been hunting?
Grew up on a farm, and my dad was hunting a lot when I was a kid.
Do you incorporate wild game into your diet?
That's all I do. But I barely buy anything from the store when it comes to meat. I just hunt everything I eat. You can't
Where?
compare the meat. And we have seasons in Sweden, so it's not like you're hunting all year round. I make sure I fill the freezer under those seasons.
I don't know a lot of pro athletes that only eat wild game and only hunt wild game, but I would think that there would be a great benefit in that.
100%. You can't get better nutrition to your body than eating that meat. It's the best thing there is. It's a healthy way of living, I think.
At 12 years old, Gustafsson
Damn.
found his way into boxing, and by the age of 16, he had already become a Swedish national champion in the sport. However, Gustafsson's
Well, I
teammate-
mean, if it's not when you frying it and putting salt and all this stuff on it, yeah.
years also brought trouble. In 2005, he was convicted of aggravated assault.
You simply hung out with friends and one thing just led to another, and then I was convicted for a couple of things.
And spent over a year in prison. Reflecting on that
Damn.
turbulent period, Gustafsson credited the experience for motivating him to change his path through structured training and personal growth.
When did you start martial arts?
End of 2006.
So a friend of mine just introduced me to MMA, and I tried my first class in the beginning group.
It was the sport that turned my whole life around.
I realized then that I had talent for martial arts. It was kind of difficult with the grappling and the wrestling. I wasn't even a good boxer back then. I was just like throwing punches. But you know, I always had a good drive in me, and when I train, I like to go 100%. So
Gustafsson dove into training under Swedish MMA pioneer August Wallen. He quickly took to the sport, competing in amateur bouts within his first year of training. This solid foundation, combined with his boxing prowess, set the stage for Gustafsson's entry into professional mixed martial arts.
How long did it take you before you knew that you wanted to compete?
well, I've always been a competitive person, so right away.
MMA from when
That's
you started
crazy,
10 years
bro.
ago to now, it's
Bro, 2006. They usually start after they get something happen to them in their life.
barely
So when something
recognizable.
critical happens,
No, you were a
they say,
gangster
yeah,
back
I
then.
got it.
Yeah.
Or you were a psychopath. Either one or two of those.
Gustafsson made his professional debut on November 17, 2007 at a Shudo Finland event, submitting Saku Heikkila via rear naked choke in the second round. Just a
Damn.
month later, he followed it up with a 50-second TKO at Finn Fight 9. In 2008, Gustafsson racked up 4 TKO victories and 1 unanimous
shit.
decision win, extending his unbeaten streak and building an early reputation
4.
as a dangerous finisher. Gustafsson also briefly returned to amateur boxing in 2008-9, even defeating Sweden's heavyweight
he was really
boxing
a boxer.
champion in an amateur bout. He was favored for the 2010 national boxing.
So he was really boxing. He was a boxing at heart
But
for
those
real.
plans were cut short when he decided to focus entirely on mixed martial arts. Gustafsson's final pre-UFC fight came in 2009 at Superior Challenge 3 in Stockholm, where he faced experienced European fighter Vladimir Shamarov. The Mauler delivered a highlight reel knockout punch in the first round, putting Shamarov away and bringing his professional record to a perfect reel knockout punch in the first round, putting Shamarov away and
What is that? What kind of draws he got on? What is that?
bringing his professional record to a perfect 8-0. This dominance on the European circuit caught the attention of major promoters.
You know, I dreamt about the UFC, and I really wanted to become a UFC fighter. It's in a whole nother level.
In September 2009, the UFC signed Gustafsson to a contract, ending his brief return to boxing and ushering him onto the biggest stage in MMA.
How old were you when you had your first fight in
Who was
the
his
UFC?
first fight?
21, 22.
That's crazy,
That's 10
man.
years now.
That
At
is
6
crazy.
feet 5 inches, Gustafsson entered the UFC's light heavyweight division as a formidable physical presence.
Unbeaten in 8 fights with 7 finishes, and long seen as one of Europe's top light heavyweight prospects, the Mauler has his sights on sending a very loud message.
He made an immediate impact in his debut. At UFC 105 in Manchester, England, Gustafsson knocked out Jared Hammond just 41 seconds into the first round.
Oh! Left hand with the
just 41
top. He
seconds
said, I
into
know
the
how
first
to box.
Oh!
On a button.
Connects with a straight right hand.
That's it. He's out. He's out.
It's all over.
Wow.
The powerful KO marked an emphatic arrival for the Swedish newcomer.
First fight in the UFC, a knockout victory. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, it feels really good, and I really like to be here. I appreciate that.
I was still working. I just did MMA for a hobby.
Right.
So after that trip, I really knew that I have to leave MMA and I have to do it as a profession.
However, in his next bout, Gustafsson experienced his first professional setback. At UFC
Damn,
112, he faced elite wrestler Phil Davis. Davis handed Gustafsson his first loss via an anaconda choke submission late in the first round.
You know, I'm a really bad loser.
That was different.
I hate to lose. Well, I'm still a beginner. Like, I need to learn a lot.
Determined to improve, Gustafsson later credited this loss as a turning point. He even began training with Davis afterward to sharpen his grappling skills.
So how did you get aligned with Alliance?
You know, I just swallowed my pride, and I would just talk to them, talk to them after the fight. Back then, we didn't have those resources in Stockholm. I started learning the whole wrestling part, and
Yeah.
how even to defend a takedown. And after
That's
that,
smart.
I just become good at it.
Bouncing back from the loss, Gustafsson embarked on a winning streak that quickly established him as a rising star.
So I wasn't scared of getting taken down. I wasn't scared to end up in different situations. I felt more confident.
In October 2010, he fought seasoned kickboxer Cyril Diabate at UFC 120 and won by rear naked choke. 4 months later at UFC 127, Gustafsson again used a rear naked choke to submit James Tahuna in the first round. The summer of 2011 saw Gustafsson continue to roll. He faced former Ultimate Fighter star Matt Hamill, overwhelming him with strikes for a second round TKO. To cap off that year, Gustafsson met veteran contender Vladimir Matyushenko and stopped him via TKO in the first round after dropping him with a stiff Matyushenko and stopped him via TKO in the first round after dropping him with a stiff jab.
See, that's why UFC gotta let us, but they gotta stop blocking these highlights, bro. My man's like he throwing them things. Like
Matyushenko and stopped him via TKO in the first round after dropping him with a stiff jab. With 4 straight finishes in the UFC, the Mauler had become known for his technical striking and knockout power. By early 2012, Gustafsson's UFC record stood at 5-1, and he earned a headlining opportunity in his home country. On April 14, 2012, he fought Thiago Silva in the main event in Stockholm. In front of an adoring Swedish crowd of over 15,000, Gustafsson delivered a disciplined performance, using his reach and footwork to outpoint Silva by unanimous decision. This victory proved he could handle top-caliber opponents and go the distance when needed. It also solidified him as a national sports hero in Sweden, the first local MMA fighter to achieve global contender status.
The star of MMA is Alexander Gustafsson.
I think it's Alexander Gustafsson is the hero for me.
I don't know the names of them, but of course I see Alexander Gustafsson.
For his next bout, Gustafsson faced an MMA legend, former UFC champion Mauricio Shogun Hua. In a high-profile title eliminator, Gustafsson used clever angles and takedowns to negate
Shogun? Hold on. The Brazilian legend?
Hua. In a high-profile title eliminator, Gustafsson used clever angles and takedowns to negate Hua's aggression, winning a clear unanimous decision after 3 exciting rounds. Defeating a former champion like Shogun vaulted Gustafsson into the top echelon of the light heavyweight division. Now riding a 6-fight UFC win streak, he had earned his first shot at the championship.
Just felt like from my debut in Manchester to being in Toronto at the same octagon with Jon Jones, it happened very, very fast.
Yeah,
in September 2013, Alexander Gustafsson challenged the seemingly
what year was this?
In September 2013, Alexander Gustafsson challenged the seemingly unbeatable Jon Bones Jones for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship at UFC 165 in Toronto.
What I've seen of him, I'm not a big fan. He likes to look down on people.
One thing about me is that I don't show an ounce of insecurity.
My confidence comes from the hard work, and I'm ready.
The build-up pitted Jones's dynamic skill set against Gustafsson's
That's
boxing.
crazy.
Notably, Gustafsson was the first opponent as tall as Jones, stirring intrigue. What ensued was a 5-round war for the ages. Gustafsson shocked observers by not only stuffing many of Jones' takedowns, but also taking Jones down once, the first time anyone had done so in Jones' UFC career.
Word? He took him down?
Jon Jones's face. Gustafsson with the takedown. First time in the UFC.
When you took Jon Jones down,
That's
we were like,
crazy.
oh, shit.
I was surprised.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, that's crazy.
When I ended up in that position on top of him, I'm like, did this really happen?
I didn't think you were going to go for it. You shocked the shit out of me.
He also opened a severe cut over Jones's eye, pushing the champion to his limits.
Here's a right hand that cut him. Grazing right hand.
The champion is cut.
What a fight! Look at that. Dose. Jon Jones may be losing this fight going into the championship round. Look at this right hand. Oh.
He just hit me with that elbow, and I'm like, hey, wait. So I saw like 3 of him out there. So I was really rocked by that.
After 25 grueling minutes, the bout went to the judges.
That might be the greatest title fight in the history of the light heavyweight division. And I have no idea who won.
You know, you're just sitting there waiting for the decision. Did you think you had it?
You know, I didn't know. Jon Jones is such a beast. He's just, for me, Jon Jones, winning over Jon Jones is bigger than taking the belt.
Gustafsson lost by unanimous decision, but the razor-thin scores, 48-47 on 2 cards,
it was tight,
prompted
ain't gonna lie.
Some fans and analysts believed Gustafsson had done enough to win.
I don't
Regardless,
think so.
the fight was
I'm gonna be
instantly
honest.
hailed as one of the greatest in UFC history. It earned Fight of the Night honors and was later named Fight of the Year 2013.
Let me know what y'all think, bro. I think it was Ty going in around 5. Jon Jones going around 5. I'm gonna be honest. Let me know what y'all think, though. I could be wrong. Let me know what y'all think.
I looked at Alexander as being a white version of me. He's tall. He had
He's
a
a white
swagger.
version of me.
He had this great footwork. He had great boxing. I just felt like he's a lot like me. He has the same reach as me and everything, but I was like, he's not me.
Years afterward, this classic battle was inducted into the UFC Hall of
As it
Fame's
should.
Fight Wing in 2020, memorializing the epic effort by both men.
Things did not go the way I expected. He was a lot more confident than I expected him to be. He was a person who was expecting to win. And that was one of the fights where I had really realized how seriously I had to take each and every opponent, that I could never get too big for my bridges.
Let me see what's the name face
He
during
was a
that.
person who was expecting
I want
to
to see
win.
Dana
And
face.
That was one of the fights where I had really realized how seriously I had to take each and every opponent, that I could never get too big for my bridges. That fight taught me a lot about the seriousness of preparation.
Though Gustafsson fell just short of
Bam.
gold, his valiant performance against Jones raised
it was
his
a good
profile
fight, though.
worldwide and proved he was truly among the elite.
I lost that fight officially, but I won it.
In the aftermath,
Oh,
there
for
was
sure,
clamor
Steve.
for an immediate rematch. UFC President Dana White was among those impressed, calling it one of the best fights ever.
Congratulations. Nobody believed that you could do that. Nobody believed that that was possible. You took Jon Jones down tonight. I mean, that was a big night for you, man.
And initially pushing to do the rematch next. Jones, however, opted to fight another contender first, and the rematch would
Who that?
have to wait. Gustafsson, for his part, remained gracious in defeat and focused on earning another crack at the title. Gustafsson returned to action on the 8th of March 2014 in London, headlining UFC Fight Night 37. Facing England's undefeated Jimmy Manawa, Gustafsson put on a show. In the second round, he rocked Manawa with a knee and flurry of punches to score a TKO victory. The
Damn.
win reasserted Gustafsson's status as the top contender and earned him a Performance of the Night bonus.
Oh.
It also kept alive the anticipation for a rematch with Jon Jones. The UFC booked Jones versus Gustafsson for September 2014, but fate intervened. Gustafsson tore his meniscus in training that summer and had to withdraw from the bout. Disappointed
Damn.
fans would have to wait longer for the rematch as Gustafsson focused on rehab.
I believe Jones was very relieved not to fight me, and he knows that I'm a threat to him, his belt.
After recovering, Gustafsson took a risky fight to maintain his contender spot. The UFC scheduled him against heavy-handed Anthony Rumble Johnson in
Anthony Rumble
Stockholm, with the
Johnson?
winner promised a title shot. In front of over 26,000 fans at the Tele2 Arena, one of
Rumble?
the largest UFC crowds ever at the time, Gustafsson's dream of a triumphant homecoming turned into a nightmare. Johnson caught him early with a right hand and followed up with a barrage of punches, scoring a TKO at 2:15 of the first
Yeah, I'm
round. The
already
thunderous
knowing.
upset silenced the Swedish crowd and left Gustafsson devastated.
In that fight, we didn't pick it up while the fight was going on, but you guys collided heads.
Yeah, it was a headbutt.
Yeah.
It was a. I'm not taking anything away from
Oh!
Anthony Johnson. That guy is a beast. He's one of the hardest hitters in the
No
the
doubt.
fucking sport. His forehead hit my chin.
Yeah.
I just blacked out. I was just disorientated, man.
He later admitted this was one of the hardest losses of his career. In the emotional aftermath, there was even speculation that Gustafsson might walk away from the sport.
It was a very hard time in my life. You know, I didn't know if I would continue, if I should do something else. So I was doubting myself. I haven't been knocked out before like that, so it was the first time.
Instead, he showed resilience and moved forward, his championship ambitions still alive despite the setback.
But I took a time off and I went for a vacation and then back in training.
Surprisingly, later in 2015, Gustafsson found himself with another title opportunity under unusual circumstances. Jon Jones was stripped of the title in April 2015 due to legal troubles unrelated to Gustafsson. Cormier needed an opponent for his first title defense in the fall, and despite coming off the loss to Johnson, Gustafsson's body of work earned him the shot. On the 3rd of October 2015, Gustafsson challenged Daniel Cormier for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship at UFC 192 in Houston. What followed was another championship thriller.
If I beat DC, I won't be the best guy out there. That belt doesn't exist. You have to beat Jon Jones to be the best.
Gustafsson used his length to land strikes, while Cormier pressed forward with dirty boxing. After 5 seesaw rounds, Cormier won via split decision, once again 48-47 on 2 cards. It was an agonizingly close outcome for Gustafsson, his second failure in a title bout by the thinnest of margins.
Didn't do enough, man. I was in his pocket too much.
The fight earned Fight of the Night honors.
Bro, when Jon Jones DC in your division, like, bro, what you gonna do? What can you do?
Added to Gustafsson's reputation for heart and toughness. Yet, the sting of back-to-back title fight losses took a mental toll. Gustafsson left Houston physically battered, his nose badly broken, and emotionally gutted, later saying that falling short in another title war weighed heavily on him. After the Cormier fight, Gustafsson took time to recover and regroup. He returned nearly a year later, on the 3rd of September 2016, to face future champion Jan Blachowicz. Showing a new wrinkle to his game, Gustafsson leaned on his wrestling, securing multiple takedowns en route to a unanimous decision victory. This win snapped a 2-fight skid and restored some confidence. Gustafsson's next bout would be a special one. He headlined UFC Fight Night 109 in Stockholm against Brazilian contender Glover Teixeira. Fighting once more on home turf, Gustafsson delivered one of his finest performances. Across 5 rounds, he showcased crisp footwork and striking, including a memorable series of uppercuts in the final round that finally dropped Glover. The arena erupted as a memorable series of uppercuts in the final round that finally dropped Glover.
Nah, his hands is crazy. He's smooth, I can't lie.
Including a memorable series of uppercuts in the final round that finally dropped Glover. The arena erupted as the hometown hero not only earned Fight of the Night, but also got down on one knee and proposed to his girlfriend in the octagon during the post-fight celebration.
Can I ask my girlfriend Moa comes up to the cage?
Oh, he got him a little, yeah, okay.
Having a kid or baby, I love you with all my heart, and you want to marry me?
Yeah.
Congratulations to Alex.
Yeah, got him a little, yeah.
It was a storybook moment.
Okay, then.
At 30 years old, Gustafsson once again positioned himself near the front of the title hunt.
After the Glover Teixeira fight, which I thought was like your masterpiece, when you see a guy hit this new level, and that's what I felt like you were in the Glover fight. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I had such a flow in training, in life generally. Everything felt really good. After the fight with Glover, I got injured and all that, and I just really wanted to, I had my eyes on that gold.
However, before he could fight for the belt again, circumstances in the division shifted. By late 2017, Jon Jones had been stripped of the title, again due to a failed drug test.
I really believe, based on the evidence, is a mistake. They tested him before that, he was negative. They tested him after that, he was negative, and what he tested for was such a minuscule amount. There's no way it was something that there's no way.
I don't know what to say. I know for a fact that he's been in that same situation a couple of times. This is not the first time.
Well, he definitely is a wild motherfucker.
He is.
And Daniel Cormier moved up to heavyweight. The light
See what I be saying, but y'all be
vacant.
Does that bother you?
Joe be saying what I be saying, but y'all be in my comments calling me crazy. Jon Jones meat eater and all that.
Because it seems like it kind of like puts the 205 title in limbo.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
After his suspension, Jones returned in 2018, and the UFC booked a light heavyweight championship fight between him and Gustafsson for the vacant title, but not without controversy.
And I believe I can beat Jon Jones. I have what it takes to beat Jon Jones.
In the lead-up, Jones faced yet another doping-related complication, an atypical drug test result for a trace metabolite of a banned substance. The Nevada State Athletic Commission refused to license Jones on short notice, so just 6 days before the event, UFC brass made the drastic decision to move the entire UFC 232 card from Las Vegas to Los Angeles.
This weekend is the big light heavyweight fight here in Las Vegas with Jones and Gustafsson. We're moving it from Las Vegas to the Forum in LA.
You are moving UFC 232 from Las Vegas to Los Angeles because Jon Jones tested positive again for a banned substance?
He did not test positive. He did not test positive.
I talked to Kwame on the phone. He was like, he tested positive again. Can you believe this shit? And they're going to let him fight. They're going to move the fight to LA. I go, no. He goes, yes, Joe. They're moving the fight to LA. I'm like, no, this can't be real.
Fighters and fans were thrown into turmoil by the relocation.
I've heard you say that you guys are 100% sure that this is not a new ingestion, that you didn't re-ingest anything. The question I don't seem to find the answer to is, how do you know that?
Because that's what the experts are saying. The experts are telling us that's what they do. How else would I know? The experts are telling.
And I don't expect you to know, but who are the experts?
Ask Nowitzki.
There you go. I can help you with that.
You know, you probably can't, actually. You let Nowitzki answer that question for you.
We were informed earlier this week by the United States Anti-Doping Agency that a urine sample collected from Jon Jones on December 9th of this year tested positive for a very, very small amount of a long-term metabolite of the same prohibited substance for which he was sanctioned in July 2017. Probably more importantly, he retains no athletic performance-enhancing benefit.
Let's see Jon Jones here. So arrested for DWI, tested positive for metabolite found in cocaine. Metabolite found in cocaine. Okay, so the first 3 incidents got nothing to do with steroids. Test positive for banned substance suspended 1 year. 2016 steroids. 2017 failed drug test at UFC 2014. Dang!
It's from the small presence of this substance. We took this information to the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and partly because the Christmas holiday here didn't feel they had the time to fully vet this issue. We then went to the state of California. And their executive director, Andy Foster, who was intimately familiar with the issue because he had jurisdiction over Jon's July 2017 positive test, and decided to grant Jon a license for this fight on Saturday.
An annoyed Gustafsson took the opportunity to openly call out Jones' history with performance-enhancing drugs.
Do you believe them?
Honestly, my feeling is no, I don't. I don't believe them. Nothing stays in the body for 1.5 years. Come on, man.
MT is a long-term metabolite, and through all the random drug tests that I've taken, there's never been any short-term metabolites found. Like I said, this long-term metabolite, what I'm hearing, can live you for up to 7 years.
At the weigh-ins, he wore a t-shirt emblazoned with the word doping and told Jones to his face, "You put illegal stuff in your body, but it won't help you this time." It was a bold psychological jab from the normally reserved Swede.
I didn't train as hard as I should have.
Excuses, only excuses. That's all I hear, nothing else. I beat you once, I can beat you again.
Jon now has the opportunity to come back and erase all the mistakes that he's made in his younger career.
The goal is to finish this fight, and that's what I will do. I will finish this fight.
And for Jon, can I just start by asking what you've learned most about yourself during this recent absence?
No more dick pills, right? More foreplay. Let's say.
Fighting him and beating him, that's bigger than taking the belt right now. That's how I feel.
Despite Gustafsson's confidence, the rematch did not go his way. On fight night in Inglewood, California, Jones proved to be the superior fighter. After a competitive first 2 rounds, Jones took Gustafsson down in the 3rd round, gained dominant position, and rained down strikes, suffering a decisive defeat. This loss, coming amid the backdrop of the controversial event relocation and Jones's doping saga, was a bitter end to Gustafsson's 2018. It also marked his 3rd failed attempt at securing UFC gold. Undeterred, Gustafsson decided to continue fighting, and the UFC matched him with another top contender, Anthony Smith. In what felt like a passing of the torch, the 2 light heavyweights battled into the 4th round. Gustafsson started strong, using his jab and range to win early rounds, but Smith's pressure paid off late. In the 4th, Smith took Gustafsson's back and secured a rear naked choke, forcing Alexander to tap out at 2:38 of round 4. It was a devastating defeat in front of his home crowd, Gustafsson's 2nd straight loss in Stockholm, and 4th loss in a title or main event fight. After the fight, an emotional Gustafsson removed his gloves and left them on the octagon floor, a traditional signal of retirement.
Now I'm very disappointed, you know, it happened again. I lost in my own home, but you know what, it's a sport. You do it because you love it, and it is what it is, you know. I just want to thank you all for coming out there tonight and support. Every time amazing to be here and to compete and in front of you, and what can I say? The show is over, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for your hometown hero, Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson.
Now,
He has been such a pioneer for the sport.
Sometimes a loss like that can just put that flame out once and for all. And if that's the case, Gustafsson has given us everything he can. And I hope one day he finds his way into the Hall of Fame.
With that, the 32-year-old veteran announced his retirement.
Hall of Famer? What y'all thinking? Hall of Famer?
From mixed martial arts, concluding, at least for the moment, an illustrious UFC career that saw him compile 18 wins, 11 by knockout, in 26 fights. Fans and pundits praised Gustafsson for his contributions. Like many fighters, Alexander Gustafsson found retirement hard to keep. Just over a year after hanging up his gloves, the competitive fire returned. In mid-2020, he announced a comeback
got them hands.
with a twist. Gustafsson decided to move up to the heavyweight division to test himself at a new weight class.
Do you feel good at 240?
I feel pretty good being heavy. I do, and I feel strong. I feel strong. I'm sparring big guys, I'm sparring heavy guys, and I feel really strong in being a heavyweight.
He made his heavyweight debut against former UFC heavyweight champion Fabricio Verdum. Gustafsson came in at roughly 240 pounds, enjoying a speed advantage early, but Verdum's elite grappling proved decisive. He took Gustafsson down and secured an armbar submission in the first round. The loss was swift and disappointing, showing that even in a new division, Gustafsson still faced old hurdles on the ground. He expressed determination to continue, but luck was not on Gustafsson's side for the next couple of years. A scheduled light heavyweight bout against Paul Craig in September 2021 fell through when Gustafsson suffered an injury. Another fight planned for May 2022 against Ben Rothwell was cancelled when Rothwell was released by the UFC. It seemed Gustafsson couldn't catch a break. Finally, after a series of false starts, he returned to action on July 2022 in London, back in the 205-pound division. Paired against explosive striker Nikita Krylov, Gustafsson hoped to recapture some old magic. Instead, the bout was over almost as soon as it began. Krylov swarmed Gustafsson with punches and knocked him out just over a minute into the first round. It was a brutal defeat and marked Gustafsson's fourth loss in a row, a stark reminder that his prime years had passed. That fight would be Gustafsson's last in the UFC. He quietly stepped away again after July 2022, this time without a formal post-fight speech. By the end of 2022, his storied UFC run was over, and his professional record stood at 18-8. Notably, he left the UFC tied for the most Fight of the Night bonuses in UFC light heavyweight history, a testament to his always entertaining style. In the aftermath of his UFC career, Gustafsson began exploring opportunities outside the octagon. It was announced in December 2024 that he signed a lucrative deal with a new promotion called the Global Fight League, and Gustafsson's contract was non-exclusive, meaning he could take other fights as well. Indeed, his management revealed that Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship had also made an offer. This hinted at an unexpected career change for the Mauler, potentially swapping the cage for the ring. However, the next chapter of Gustafsson's career remained uncertain. The GFL's inaugural events in 2025 encountered setbacks. The promotion's scheduled debut shows were canceled or delayed. As of late 2025, Gustafsson had yet to compete in any new organization.
I just love my life as it is. I'm so flexible in my schedule, in my time with the family, and I gain everything from the sport. I have to do it more, and I'm going to do it more.
In the meantime, he has stayed active in the sport by training at All Stars Training Center in Stockholm, the very gym where his journey began, and mentoring younger fighters. Outside the ring, Gustafsson is engaged to his longtime partner Moa, with whom he has children, and he enjoys a quieter family life while keeping the door open for the right opportunity to fight again. Alexander Gustafsson's legacy in MMA is secure. He is widely regarded as one of the best fighters never to win a UFC title, having come achingly close on multiple occasions. He spent the majority of his career in the UFC's top ranks, earning wins over legends and engaging in memorable rivalries. Gustafsson's 2013 battle with Jon Jones is enshrined in history as an all-time classic, and his valiant bouts with Cormier, Johnson, and others won him a legion of fans. He rose from a troubled youth to the cusp of world champion glory, gave fans around the world unforgettable performances, and ultimately helped pave the way for the next generation of European fighters.
Nah, he was like that, bro. He was like that, man. No question. There's no question, bro. There's no question. I ain't gonna lie. Let me know in the comments who are some of the great fighters who never won a championship. Because I just thought about that. Who are some of the great fighters who never got a championship? Let me know in the comments who y'all top 5. And I'm gonna see y'all next video, man. Let me know y'all want me to react to next. I got y'all.